Okay, question number one. What is STEM and why is it important? What is STEM education and why is it important? STEM education is educating students in science, technology, engineering, and math. And when we say that, I think most people have the understanding that STEM is more than just the uh, absorbing of information and then regurgitating it on a test. But STEM education really means students who are in the trenches, who are getting their hands dirty, who are trying to figure things out. And that is incredibly important for our world today because I think that's how students of the generation that we're bringing up are going to solve the problems that we have in our world today. Cancer, world hunger. Where's our energy going to come from in the future once fossil fuels run out? Global warming, all of these things that are just big problems. I think STEM is how we're going to get those problems solved. Um, so then the second question, what role does each component of STEM play within Project Lead the Way? Well, I can speak to the biomed side of things. Um, in the biomed sequence, we have all of these science, technology, engineering, and math. The science is obviously there. The technology, when we use the Logger Pro, when we use computers to collect data about systems in the body. The engineering, there are several times in the Project Lead the Way biomed sequence when engineering is used to design something. An example from HBS that we just did was designing the digestive system using maybe unconventional parts, but building something that represents the function of the digestive system, and they had to use the design process to do that. So that's very much engineering related. And then math, obviously, with calorimetry and PBS, and then with calculating the BMI and the BMR in HBS, and several other examples when math is also used in these biomed courses. As far as how Project Lead the Way, how their activity, project, problem-based learning has enhanced my ability to teach STEM, I can't overstate this. Students in my classes, it's just a fundamental shift in the way that things are done. And I walk into my classroom now, and students are excited about getting started, and sometimes I'll walk in and they'll already be started because they have really taken ownership of their own learning. And I think going back to the first thing that I talked about with STEM, this is how we're going to solve the world's problems, is by helping students learn how to solve problems in a safe, structured environment. And then they can go out in the world and they can do that exact same thing. Figure out how to solve problems that are very difficult to solve. And so I think that's incredibly important. And I think having Project Lead the Way curriculum in place, it has really helped my students to understand, oh yeah, we're actually supposed to figure this out. This isn't something that's being force-fed to me that I just have to listen to. They're responsible for their own learning, and I think this is going to make students lifelong learners in a much more powerful way than maybe our traditional system has done in the past. The three-phase professional development model. So I actually enjoy this professional development model. I think the readiness training is a good thing, especially when we're talking about adult learners as opposed to maybe younger learners. Adult learners experience readiness at different times, and I think this is probably Project Lead the Way's attempt at making sure that people are ready when they come into the core training because they have done some pre-homework for this. So you've got your readiness training, which involves just some real reflection on what do I want to get out of this, and I think that's very useful. The core training is obviously the part where, for a very brief amount of time, you're kind of drinking from the fire hose and learning all of this information that you need to know in order to teach your classes, and it's very hands-on, and it's very focused on how can you teach this to students. But then one of the most important things for me has been the professional learning community that exists after the core training. And I can't tell you how many times I've been able to use those relationships that I made in core training to talk to people about things that they're doing and what worked, what didn't, and all of this. So that's their three-prong professional development, and it's some of the best that I've ever received.